Okay, so you want to escape, right? Like, picture this, you're daydreaming about your next big trip, but you're totally torn. On one hand, you've got California calling your name, sunshine, those iconic beaches, that feeling of endless summer. But then there's this other side of you that's curious about somewhere completely different, Quang Nam province in Vietnam. It's like that classic travel dilemma, the familiar versus the totally unexplored.
It's that fear of missing out, right?
Yeah, exactly. So to help us and you navigate this travel face-off, we decided to dive deep into the official tourism websites for both California and Quang Nam. And let me tell you, they each have a very distinct way of trying to grab your attention. It's almost like they're going head-to-head for your wanderlust. So let's kick things off with California, the Golden State. Their website is all about that, like, welcome to the ultimate playground energy. They are not shy about showcasing everything they've got.
No holding back.
Seriously. And what's fascinating here is how California's website really taps into that image they've built over decades, that image of a place where any experience you can dream up is within reach.
Yeah, it's like that California dream, It's ingrained in our minds.
Totally. And they really weren't kidding about endless ways to play. Beaches, check. Theme parks, obviously. National parks, yes. Double check.
Don't forget about the food scene.
Oh, right. How could we forget? And they even have a whole section dedicated to planning the perfect California road trip. It's clear they're trying to appeal to just about every kind of traveler out there.
It's smart cast a wide net.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that focus on road trips is really interesting to me. They're not just saying, hey, come see this one spot. They're encouraging you to explore the entire state, from those iconic beaches to the towering redwoods and everything in between.
Yeah, it speaks to that adventurous spirit California is known for, right?
Definitely. And speaking of exploring, did you know they have a whole California Now section with up-to-date travel stories and local events? It's like they're saying, yeah, you might think you know California, but we've always got something new and exciting happening.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Exactly. They're not just relying on their reputation, they're actively trying to surprise you. It's smart they're acknowledging their iconic status while still finding ways to stay fresh and exciting. But okay, before we get totally lost in the California sunshine, let's hop across the globe and see how Quang Nam stacks up. And I'm telling you, the vibe, totally different. Think less surfs up and more like Zen gardens and ancient temples.
A complete 180.
Right. From the moment you land on their website, you're greeted by these incredible photographs, lush landscapes, serene beaches, and those beautiful golden temples.
The photography is definitely eye-catching.
And the language they use is almost poetic. They describe Quang Nam as being as beautiful as a fairy tale, which, that's a bold statement.
It's definitely a different approach.
It's a much more understated approach compared to California's bold, in-your-face energy. It makes you wonder, does that quiet confidence make those hidden gems even more enticing?
It's like they have something to prove, but they're letting the destination speak for itself.
And while California wows you with this huge, almost overwhelming range of options, Quang Nam focuses on the diversity of experiences within its borders. You've got the historical charm of Hoi An, the peacefulness of their beaches, and the untouched beauty of the countryside. It's less about checking things off a bucket list and more about immersing yourself in the experience, wouldn't you say?
It's true. California's like, come on, look at this, like, whoa. And then Quang Nam's like, hey, just breathe.
Yeah.
It's fine. You've got you.
It really is a completely different approach, isn't it? And you know what else is interesting? It's not just about telling you to slow down with Quang Nam.
Right.
They're actually giving you the tools to do it right there on the website. They have those 360-degree tours so you can virtually wander through these ancient temples and bustling markets all before you even book your flight.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a cool way to get a feel for a place. It makes you wonder if those 360 tours are almost strategically designed to appeal to a certain type of traveler, someone who maybe craves adventure but also wants to feel prepared.
Yeah, to get a sense of what they're stepping into.
Exactly. Like they're anticipating the hesitation someone might feel when they're faced with a destination that's so different from their own. It's like offering a gentle handhold, a way to bridge that gap between the familiar and the unknown.
That's a great way to put it.
So, okay, we've got California, the ultimate playground, bright lights, big adventures. And then you've got Quang Nam inviting us to slow down, soak it in, and uncover those hidden gems.
Two very different energies.
Totally. It's almost like choosing between two different tempos in music, wouldn't you say? Like, do you want that fast-paced, energetic beat that keeps you moving? Or are you looking for something a bit slower, something that allows you to really feel the rhythm?
I love that analogy. And it highlights how each destination approaches tourism in such a different way. California is like a highlight reel, right? All the best parts all the time. Whereas Quang Nam is more like a hidden track on an album, something you discover and you're like, oh, wow, this speaks to me.
It does feel that way, and I wonder if some of that difference in how they present themselves comes down to the level of tourism development that each destination has experienced. California has been a tourism powerhouse for decades.
For sure.
They've got a well-established infrastructure and, a global reputation. Whereas Quang Nam, while it's becoming more and more popular, is still relatively early in its tourism journey,
Yeah.
which could explain why they're choosing to emphasize preserving their cultural heritage and creating those sustainable experiences.
Which is a really smart move.
Totally.
Because then they're attracting the right kind of tourists.
Yeah.
The ones that are actually going to appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's about quality over quantity.
Right. Absolutely. And it raises the question, what kind of traveler thrives in each of these environments? Someone drawn to California's energy might be seeking that constant buzz, that feeling of being surrounded by excitement and just endless possibilities.
Yeah, they want the convenience, the accessibility of a very developed tourism industry.
Exactly. But then you think about someone choosing Quang Nam.
Right.
And for them, maybe it's more about seeking those authentic experiences.
Right.
Connecting with locals and discovering those hidden gems that aren't plastered all over social media.
Supporting sustainable tourism, too.
Exactly.
Giving back to the local economy in a more meaningful way.
It really is like choosing your own adventure, but on a deeper level. It's not just about the activities that you choose. It's the entire ethos of the destination and how it aligns with your values as a traveler.
Okay.
And I think sometimes the most rewarding travel experiences are the ones that push us outside of our comfort zones a little bit.
Definitely.
Like maybe you're drawn to California's familiar energy because you need a break from the routine. You need a chance to just let loose and recharge.
Yeah.
Or maybe the tranquility of Quang Nam calls to you because you're craving a slower pace.
Right.
A chance to disconnect from the noise and reconnect with yourself.
You've hit the nail on the head. It's about recognizing what your soul needs from a travel experience. Do you want to be swept away by the current? Or do you want to chart your own course?
And that's the beauty of exploring these destinations through their websites, right? You start to see how those choices, the choices you make about where you want to go reflect like a deeper yearning. It's not just about beaches versus temples. It's about understanding what truly refreshes you as a traveler.
Yeah, and it makes you think about how each place got to where it is now. Like with California, you can really feel that gold rush history feeding into its whole tourism personality.
Oh, totally.
It's always been a place that embraces ambition reinvention, chasing those big dreams.
Yeah.
That energy, it's almost tangible on their website.
Right.
And then you have Quang Nam, with centuries of tradition and resilience. They're offering a different kind of allure, a sense of permanence, a connection to something ancient and enduring.
It's like two completely different origin stories.
It is.
And it's interesting how those stories, those deeply ingrained narratives about a place, end up shaping how they present themselves to the world. California's drive for the new versus Quang Nam's strength in its roots.
Exactly.
And then you have all these different travelers with their own stories.
Right.
So someone who thrives on California's energy might be at a point in their life where they're seeking that same sense of limitless possibility. And someone drawn to Quang Nam's tranquility might be longing for a sense of grounding.
A connection to something beyond themselves.
It's like each destination is holding up a mirror,
reflecting back not just its own beauty, but the desires and aspirations of the traveler.
So as we come to the end of our whirlwind deep dive, California highways to the serene temples of Quang Nam, I think we've uncovered a key insight: the ultimate playground. It isn't a fixed location, it's a state of mind.
It's about what brings you joy, what rejuvenates you.
Exactly. And you know what? Maybe the perfect trip blends a little bit of both. A little taste of California's exhilarating energy followed by that grounding piece of Quang Nam.
Why not have it all?
Right. But ultimately, the choice is yours. Which destination will you let spark your imagination and inspire your next adventure?